Hello, everyone, welcome back to Work Music. My name is Alonso Rodriguez, and today in our interview section, we are with the Canadian band Meltt. We're going to know more about them, their new single Blossom, and their North American tour that is soon to begin. But first of all, how are you guys? How are you feeling today?
Good, yeah. Just it's kind of early here, but we're all good. Jamie's in Europe right now, so
yeah, later in the afternoon for me, but yeah, doing well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that.
how are you doing?
How about you? Yeah, how are you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm really nice with a little flu, but everything else it's
Oh
okay.
no. That's too bad.
Where are you recording this from right now?
I'm recording from Peru, exactly
cool.
the South America.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our other band
Cool.
member, actually, the one who's not here, lived in Peru for over a year. So.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Yeah, it's too
when
bad
he's
he's not
like
on the call,
13.
but yeah, he lived
He was
there.
in
So, yeah.
Arequipa.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's right.
that's really nice. I'm really surprised about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a
Yeah.
funny little coincidence. He left Vancouver for his dad was working down there, so he spent almost 2 years, I think. Yeah, when he was, I guess, 9, 10 or something around the
Oh.
time, 9 to 11. Yeah.
You as a kid, but it's okay.
Yeah. A cool
Okay,
little
so-
connection down there. He has some friends and some little
Yeah,
connections,
it's
so.
such a pleasure to be with you guys in this moment. I would like to know something more about each one of you. How was the band formed?
So Jamie
Yeah.
probably started because he knew him and Chris kind of knew each other first.
Mm.
Yeah, sure. Well, so a long time ago, actually right after Chris came back from Peru, I'd known Chris for a long time, growing up with him since kindergarten, and he came back. He left to Peru and then he came back, and I played this talent show with another friend of ours. I knew Chris was coming back, and I suggested to this other member that he come in and play, and we kind of started playing together, doing school dances and whatnot. And then that was for grade 6 and 7, and then high school and grade 8 rolled around. James joined the cover band, and we kind of grew by a couple members. We were playing all throughout high school from grade 8 to 12, and school dances, local fundraisers. We even had a little Olympic show and some other youth center shows just around our neighborhood and town. And that was, we did that for about 5 years, and we enjoyed it so much that after we graduated, when everyone kind of went their separate ways for university, me and Chris played together in the room where we always had practiced as our cover band. James went to Montreal, and we were kind of always talking, us three. The other members kind of went off further away and weren't as involved, but we kind of were always talking, us three, sending little demos back and forth. I was playing with Chris. James was doing his own recordings at McGill out in Montreal, and he came back for the summer, and between after our first year of university, and we kind of brought everything to the room and started playing again, and just thought it felt really, really great, and made this little small EP of our own first time doing original music and not covers, and it kind of was born out of that, and I think it was 2014. It was the first time we really started playing our own original music. Later on, a few years later, Ian was kind of back and forth with his university as well, and he played bass in there, and then more recently joined as a permanent member. But yeah, the guys can kind of sprinkle in their own thoughts, but that's generally how we came about.
Yeah, that pretty much covers how I was born. Yeah, as Jamie said, I knew the guys in high school, and I had jammed with them a few times throughout high school. So in university, there was one summer I came back where they needed a bassist, and I filled in. And then when I graduated university and came back, I joined for good. That was like 2018, and it's been the four of us since.
Yeah,
That's
we were
great.
kind of
So-
always looking for a bassist throughout our university career, and we had a few session bassists that came in and played. Me, Chris, and James kind of wrote the first EP and the album, and then we had a few session bassists. And whenever Ian would come in, we'd always ask him to play with us because he worked well with us, but then he'd have to go back to school, so it was kind of a rotating thing. But then when he came back permanently, we just asked him to come in, and when he was around, he quickly became the other permanent member.
Since that time, how is your musical coexistence in the band?
I would say it's good. I think we complement each other really well. Like we all kind of write demos and bring them in, so it's like in that way everyone's kind of a songwriter, which is nice. We all kind of like Jamie does like all the percussion and drums, but me, Ian, and Chris, we all kind of play whatever on the records. Like we'll play guitar or keyboards or bass. Like it doesn't matter what our like live way of playing is. Like we'll just do whatever in the studio. So I think that's something that works really well for us. Is like anyone could play any instrument for any song. So
Yeah, that's a bonus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the benefit of having multi-instrumentalists, everyone kind of being able to do everything.
And we're
Yeah,
like,
which is
we call ourselves multi-instrumentalists, but we're bad at keyboards, but
Yeah.
we love to.
Yeah, so we're
And,
we're okay at guitar. We're
beginners at a
not
little bit
traditional
of everything.
bassist, and we can pound out some chords on the keys, but enough to
Put it all
to get
together.
what we're going
and make
for.
something.
Yeah.
And you guys find some kind of liberation within your music?
Yeah, I think just the act of making music is like personally fulfilling and like liberating. And
I don't want to cut you off. I was just gonna say, yeah, writing music, and the number one way I express myself, my thoughts, my feelings, everything goes into that. And then also playing live is a very, very cathartic experience when we really have a good heavy show and you're really, I don't know, connected with everybody and jamming out. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, artistically for me, I have no
it's
talent in
personal.
painting or drawing, so yeah, definitely with music is the artistic expression that I can definitely most relate to, because I'm pretty pathetic at other forms of art. Even though I appreciate it, I appreciate all forms of art, and I love the talent. Like when I see someone who can paint something amazing, I hold so much like appreciation for it, and I wish I could be talented that way. But no, it's music, and definitely is the most expressive way I can relate to artistically. And yeah, and I think like Ian said again, that playing live like that is such a unique feeling.
Yeah, I'm share that feeling too, because I mean, I'm really bad at drawing, but with music, I think I also good for letting out my emotions, and it's like Ian told us, a cathartic experience.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
I would like to talk about the art of your music. But for example, your covers are very interesting for me, and they have like a mystical vibe, a sci-fi vibe. What is your inspiration for making your album and single covers?
so the artist that does all of our artwork for the albums, except for the Visions EP, that was Chris. But for the album, it's this guy called Vadim. He goes by Karaska Designs. He's like a Ukrainian artist who does all these like really, really cool designs. And we kind of just like scrolled through his stuff, and there was a while we were trying to figure out what would be like the artwork for the first album, like Swim Slowly. And we were kind of at a deadlock, but then we found his stuff and we thought it was like perfect for the vibe, and we were lucky enough that no one had used it for an album. So we got in touch with him, and now we have like a really good relationship with him where for all the new songs, he'll like send us artworks for like the singles and stuff. And yeah, just I really like his vibe. It's kind of like surreal and like yeah, there's some element of like sci-fi or like mystical, like you said, which is cool that came across.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was something that we all could kind of really feel passionate about equally. Like we all have. I remember when we were first doing our Swim Slowly artwork, we spent hours looking through Pinterest and just for inspiration, you know, and artists we could use that weren't too expensive. Obviously, we have some artists that we really wanted to go with. We knew they were going to be expensive, and so you kind of have to balance that. But when we saw that, it was something like James said, we all just were like super passionate about immediately. And then, like you said, it worked out when we could contact him, and it was reasonably priced, and he's just, and ever since then, it just the match from the visual aspect matches the music really well, and in a kind of not so obvious way, and it adds to the interpretation of the music. I think the covers kind of add like another dimension to how you can interpret the music, and they all relate. It's like that we do pick the art for, especially now going forward when he commissions stuff, we do pick the art for songs in a very deliberate way. But sometimes it's not so on the nose, so it kind of complements each other really well. And again, yeah, he's a great person to work with, super talented. His page is amazing. Definitely check it out because he has tons of cool collage art that's just, it's pretty mind-blowing. So we're very lucky.
Yeah, the art's done great things for us too. We talked to so many people at shows who'll come up to us and be like, "Oh, I saw your album art on YouTube and I just clicked it, and now I'm here at a show." Like,
yeah, I like the music
amazing.
too. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you like me at the end of like.
Yeah, for Swim Slowly, the cover it's very natural with the music. It complements each other. It's really nice.
We're so lucky
when
for
I
that.
saw it, it was like wow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
you,
I
yeah.
totally agree. It
Appreciate
popped
that.
up to us too, and it has a really cool complementary aspect to it. It's definitely. But I feel really lucky that we got to use that in the way we did and to continue working with it. I think it really works well with our style.
And now I would like to talk about your latest single, Blossoms, which has a strong message about the environment in general. What sensations are you trying to transmit to your listeners with your next album?
Oh, there's all kinds with the next album. Yeah, we made, like, with the next album, we definitely made a big point of, like, each song feeling like its own thing. Like, we didn't want to repeat ourselves, really. So it's like it hops around in, like, styles quite a lot. And it's very, I guess the thing we wanted to get across most was just, like, make something really colorful that's, like, has all these different aspects to it. And then we've kind of been, like, leading into that with the artwork. Like, all the artwork is like these portals, so we're kind of viewing it as like each single and each like artwork is like you walk through a portal and there's just like a whole new sound kind of thing. If that answers the question.
Yeah, it's like each song is another world or another dimension.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. And we try to do that like sonically.
And they kind of relate, but
there's definitely like sort of a story to the album.
Just James is right. Exactly what I was gonna say. It's like they kind of loosely relate, and some do and some don't. But yeah, it's kind of a world where you can jump to different things, and there's a couple recurring themes, I would say. Some kind of like meditations on time and loss and pushing through that, and a lot of like James said, it was kind of more colorful, so a lot of I guess themes of happiness and uplifting kind of themes in spite of life's difficulties, a lot of that. And then Blossoms comes in with a song that's like kind of just like this song that is relating to how meaningful nature is to each of us, and the importance of connecting to it. And then you have other songs like Only in Your Eyes, which kind of talk about time and spending time with loved ones, and then Within You Within Me, which is kind of an uplifting song about finding yourself in someone else, and just different kind of themes that they're quite general and different, but kind of all connect to like an overarching uplifting feeling of no matter what's going on in life, like kind of giving that more colorful, uplifting tone. Swim Slowly was a little bit darker in some ways, and we kind of wanted to go a different route, especially with our exploration of new instruments, and the music kind of developed that way. So we just leaned into that with the lyrics. And
until now, you have released the visualizer from Blossoms. Do you have plans to release more videos of any song from your next album?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll do like a full-on music video for any of the songs. Like, we're still kind of figuring that out, but definitely we'll keep doing visualizers for sure. I think we're gonna have one for every song on the album. It's sort of a goal. Nice. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like nice. I like videos like that where you just put them on. It's like subtle, but it's cool. You don't have to watch it for the whole time necessarily, but I enjoy it.
It makes the artwork a little bit like more interesting too, with the small animation, and you kind of get this mini kind of video feel to the static single art. It gives it just a subtle dynamic, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I think like James said, even for the ones that are going to be the album track, they'll have probably their own individual art as well. Every track, and we'll have some kind of animation and visualizer. So. And then maybe we'll do another music video. Not sure yet. Haven't totally worked all that out, but yeah, it should be visualizer for each, which is.
Yeah, and visuals is always such an important part of what we've done. I feel so.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be putting a lot of thought into that.
And we love making music videos. So they're expensive. So
yes,
it's the unfortunate reality of a good music video.
Yeah. But we love it. It's super cool.
If we could, we'd make one for every song. Probably. It's just exactly.
Definitely they're too expensive sometimes.
Unless you get like, I guess if you have like a really good simple idea, it's just like a good idea, then. But that's hard.
And now we're going to talk about Swim Slowly. In these 3 years and a half, what has impressed you the most about its reception so far, and did you have any teachings from all that time to now to the present?
The coolest thing for me is like just how like international it's been. Like we thought we'd release an album, and then you think like, oh, maybe people in Canada will hear this, and then some people in the States, and maybe like England, but it's been like really like all over the world. It's really cool. It's like, especially like in Latin America, which is really sweet. Like South America and Mexico, it's been like really good.
Yeah,
and I don't know, it's just wild.
Cities,
with the
one of
internet.
our top stream cities. I
For
was
me,
going to say the
that's
exact same thing as
really
James.
cool.
Actually, I totally agree with that. That's probably the most surprising aspect of everything is the little international layers of fans that you get in these places like Mexico, even Peru, Chile, and then Brazil is huge with a lot of Brazilian fans. So a lot of Portuguese comments and Spanish comments. It's definitely really cool to see that because you never think, like James said, it's going to be so international. I would say, yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, it's surprising, and to me, it's surprising enough that like that many people are listening at all, and then it's even more surprising that it's just so international. It's really cool.
Yeah. For me, I find what ends up surprising me the most sometimes is, you know, in comments or at a show, you know, people might say like, "You're my favorite band," like blah blah blah. Like, oh, like I have favorite bands. Like somebody feels that way about me. That's crazy.
That's true.
That every time, like, that's me.
Yeah, I guess one other small thing as well, just over the past 2 years, specifically for that time period, Swim Slowly was released, you know, a few months before COVID hit. And so I guess the surreal feeling was like, you know, we released the album, we were planning to tour that year in 2020, and then COVID hit and everything shut down. And in that time, in the most surreal time of our lives with the pandemic going on, there was these kind of really, that's when a lot of our music started to just get into these algorithms organically and pick up fans. And so it was really cool to see the music grow in that period when we were kind of a little bit down about the music career, weren't sure where it was going to go, what was going to happen, things were shut down, weren't playing. But then we really got a lot of fans through, you know, just what the algorithms allow you to do these days. So that was really, really cool as well over the past 2 years, seeing how it grew just organically, you know.
I mean, the COVID times were weird. I mean, for everyone, and even for the music industry.
Yeah, exactly. And people were still listening to music, you know, they just weren't able to go see it. So it was cool. It allowed people to kind of be more involved with the streaming side of things, even if they couldn't see it live. I think that probably helped.
Yeah, definitely. And from that album, we saw that for Love Again, you made a remix contest in collaboration with Arturia. How did you feel, guys, with doing this sort of dynamic or contest with your fans?
Oh, it was super cool.
That was super fun.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like we all love like the remix albums, so that like just for any artists. So then having like someone of your fans make one and then actually like putting it out was really cool. Like I like that a lot.
Yeah, we got so many different responses and tracks. Like just listening to all of them were really, really cool to see the different takes on your music is cool anyway, but to see it from your own fans and people that follow you is just, you know, and it was really cool as well because having Arturia involved, you know, we just emailed them and didn't know what they would say and they were totally on board with it. So they were super accommodating with it. And that was really cool to have real, actual, you know, pretty good prizes to give to people. And it was during COVID as well. So we couldn't put out our music. So it was just another way to be able to interact with your fans where people could kind of remix from home. And, you know, while we couldn't record and write, we were doing at least something and getting music out in some way. So it filled that gap really, really nicely and definitely connected us with a lot of people. And it was fun.
It's really cool because it's just like, it's weird to like break down. Like normally it's like a band puts out music and then like the fans are just like consuming it, but it's really cool that like fans can like, they have input now on like our actual like catalog. Like what we put out is like partly fan made, which is really cool. I think we're definitely going to keep doing those kind of remix contests.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think the stems still exist. I think the remix page still exists. If somebody wants to like go download the stems and play around with Love Again, I think that you go like to our web, what is it? Meltt.ca/remix.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in there and I
I
think so.
tried yesterday.
I could be wrong. Did you try? Yeah, it's still there. Yeah,
It's
feel
still
free. Play around with it. Send it to us if you make something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Now we're gonna talk a little bit of curiosities about you. You guys definitely have a psychedelic DNA. Currently, is there an artist or band that has blown your minds?
I'm recently, like, as in like the past I guess the past year or 2 years or something, I've just gotten obsessed with Dope Lemon. I think it's like the coolest piece that was missing in my musical life. It's just so fucking cool. I love it.
Yeah, I tried. For me personally, I've kind of taken not a right turn on psychedelic. Like, I still love psychedelic music. I've been really into like folk music and stuff like that lately. Like really into like old kind of 60s, 70s folk, like Townes Van Zandt kind of stuff. But the psychedelic music, that kind of stuff, that always is something I love. I don't know, Melody's Echo Chamber, I say, is like an artist I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I would say for me, just I've been getting more into Kranvin, that kind of particular genre of psych music. Didn't listen to them too much before, but the last, I guess, 6 months or so. And then I really liked the new Foals album. That was awesome. And and then classically, just always listening to a lot of Glass Animals and Tame Impala, for psych music. Just
we're going to talk about your next tour, but first, being on tour is one of the most interesting experiences for a musician or a band in general. What is the most memorable experience you remember from a tour or a concert?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. It's fine. We're still figuring things out on tour. We're still pretty new to it compared to most bands. So there's so many. We went on a big road trip, kind of like just like around North America, playing shows in August. Maybe showing up there's this one tiny little venue in this smaller town we went to where we showed up and there was like no sound guy, like we mixed it ourselves, and there's like hardly anyone in the bar. We still rocked the show. I like to say it was like our smallest show, but it was our highest band to merch rate. Everybody bought merch.
Whoa.
That was there.
It's probably like, I want to say,
that's
yeah.
true.
We had like a lot of amazing shows, but there was one show, I guess we won't name the town. I don't know why. There was like literally like 4 people there, which I think is like, it's just part of like starting as a touring musician, is like you're gonna play to a lot of full rooms, but then there's also gonna be some like basically empty rooms. But for me, it's like when it's that, and then there's no sound mix or anything, so it's like when things are that comically bad, it's just like you kind of just have to laugh. And like actually I had a really fun time at that show. But
yeah, it definitely made us play a lot more free. I guess on the other side, one that stuck out to me, there's a few, like James said, there's a few really cool shows that stuck out. There's one on our first tour last year in Boise where we played to a really big crowd just at a festival. That was cool because I think it was one of our biggest crowds. But then there was a show in New York, which was like an organic Meltt show where we actually had so many people lined up for merch. Like it was way back, and tons of like actual passionate hardcore Meltt fans. And it was quite a packed room, really cool opener, really cool venue, and it turned out to be a really awesome show for just actual Meltt fans coming out. And to be in a place like New York on the other side of the continent is kind of cool, just to have an experience like that. That one definitely stuck out for me for sure.
Another one that was really cool, I'm trying to remember what city this was in, where it was like the 2 girls came and they made the artwork, and it was like their first concert.
That was Fort Collins.
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins.
That was really cool.
Yeah, like having like people in there, like teenagers come up to you and be like, this is my first concert I've ever been to, and like you're my favorite band. It's like Ian was saying, like that's so mind-blowing and like surreal, because we were those people, like we were like teenagers and we would just like go to our first concerts and we would just be totally obsessed with whatever band it was. So that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely can put yourself in their shoes, but it's weird to be on the other side of it, but mind-blowing for sure.
Yeah. And I mean in every city, like just being able to like talk to the fans and talk to people at the merch booth and stuff has always been maybe not the highlight of every show, because we love playing the songs, but
I do agree though.
It's always amazing to talk
it's a huge
people.
It's a
huge. It's weird to put like actual
cool
faces to just like internet, because up until we go on tour, it's basically just like people on the internet in comments. So then when we actually see people's faces, then it's like, holy shit, like these are like real people.
Yeah.
For ending this interview, I would like to ask you, what are your expectations for your North American tour that is soon to begin in a few weeks?
I think we're gonna play to bigger audiences, and I think we're gonna be playing a lot more new music, which is exciting for us. Yeah, this will be like our first tour, like returning to places. So it'll be really interesting to see how it's grown, because the last 2 tours were one was like the West Coast and one was like the East Coast. So we didn't really return to many cities. So this will be our first going back to the West Coast, and yeah, I think it's gonna be really good. I'm very stoked.
Yeah, like James said, like our first tour last year, like our first tour ever, was doing pretty much the same route we're doing this time. This time we're doing a few more shows, but yeah, just going back to these cities, seeing how things have grown, seeing people have come before.
Exactly. Just hoping for just a few more fans in different places, and playing new songs again, like some of the new music, and returning to some venues and playing new stuff, and yeah, hopefully just building and growing, and yeah, excited to be back in Texas South by, and hopefully get some more shows there, and yeah, just play new venues and new shows to new people and people who have come before.
You're doing a big tour, like across almost all North American continent. So it's going to be, I think, amazing to see how your audience has grown, like you said, in all these years, and also because you're working on this new album, so you have new songs to show to all the people and all the crowd. I think they will be very surprised about their new songs, because I mean, for me, Blossom, it was a great song. And
thank you.
I think that your next album is going to be as good as, or even better than, Swim Slowly, almost for me.
Thank you.
With the visual part, I think it's such a great album, and you're doing a great work, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for all this time. Best wishes for your tour. I hope we can talk again in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
And also talk about South American tour.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
That's the dream.
That's the dream for sure. Yeah,
That would be amazing.
yeah, we'd love to get down there. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, and well,
So many passionate fans.
yeah, you have a lot of fans in Mexico, Peru, Chile, and Brazil. So I hope in maybe a year or 2 years we can talk about that.
No, that'd be so cool.
So I really hope.
Amazing. I hope so too.
And well, that has been all for today in our interview section. See you next time, guys. Thank you again.
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you
with
so
us.
much, Alonso.